to prove that Americans from all over the world, many of them rejects from their own countries, could create and form an amazing country, the greatest country on earth, the most powerful country on earth, the richest country on earth. And what was the difference? Freedom. Freedom was given to the individual by God. That's what our Constitution says. The Bob Cordaro Show, well, it'll always be convincingly conservative, lovingly logical, proudly and passionately patriotic, and reliably right. Well, we're not going to gavel because I'm still in traffic. We won't gavel order. We'll do that after this commercial break. But, ladies and gentlemen, good to be with you. I want to talk, and I hope you guys want to talk about the Iran situation. It had to be done. I'm 100% behind Trump on that question. It had to be done. The issue, however, is why we thought and why Trump thought that he could negotiate or deal with these people as rational actors. Huge mistake. I said it from the beginning. And we've got to do whatever it takes to finish this. That includes troops on the ground, because we have to secure the Strait of Hormuz for ourselves, for the world. That's our job. And that's going to require troops on the ground. So why we've waited, why we've delayed, I understand optimism. But cockeyed optimism does not work, and in this case, it certainly did not. We'll talk about that. We'll talk about much more today, and I look forward to it. But we'll take a break now. Bob Cordaro, WILK. Let's hear from our great sponsors, a little history, a little music, and then you at 570-883-0098.
Murph tells us that this date, 1955, the beginning of the rock and roll era when Bill Haley and the Comets reached #1 with their hit Rock Around the Clock. Nobody even knew. I mean, most people didn't even know what he meant. What's rock? What is this? Bob Cordaro back. What a great song. And it really does. Doesn't it stand the test of time? So I was talking with a text group that I'm on. And I told them last night, I said, transparency can be good. Meaning Trump giving constant updates and constant optimistic updates about the Iranian situation. But the fact is, and I don't know, I find it hard to believe, but Trump's optimism sometimes causes issues. And in this case, the issue is this is not a negotiation. This is a fight to the death with radical Islam. So if you think and proceed as Americans would, as rational people would, that, well, they just want what's best for their country or themselves, you will be wrong virtually every time, as Trump has been in this delay. Now, I've said this to you before as a possibility. Was the delay because we could not sustain the offensive? That is possible. But this is a fight to the death with radicalism. There are no settlements with this regime. I think he tried to buy time till the midterms, get the gas prices down, make it a fair fight. But the Iranians know this. They know what his game is. And they're not going to let him do it. They're saying, well, what, if gas prices go back down, people might forget, and we won't get these radical lunatic Democrats in office and in charge. They also know that Trump is probably going to crush them after the midterms. So they better get the best Congress in that they can. Now, I'm curious to see. Gas prices, the good gas prices, have gone down $3.85, some even lower. I'm interested to see where they go next. We'll see. But everything, in my view, Americans are so fickle. We are. It's horrible. It's embarrassing, actually. But you could say they didn't make the case for the imminent danger of the Iranians. I understand it. I've studied it extensively. I've studied these people for a long time. I've studied their sickness. I've studied what they're willing to do. And I know people in the administration did. I know they did. Cabinet guy saying stayed out a little late last night. No, I didn't. No, I provide a half hour to 40 minutes to get here. It is a 12-minute drive from my house to here. And if something happens, and the Bulldog and our traffic team will warn me, hey, there's an accident. Well, generally speaking, I'm already en route. There's nothing I can do about it. So there was some sort of accident, and the shoulder was closed in Avoca, so I was late. But that's fine, you know. I'm not going to get all excited about traffic and road rage and do all that stuff. I'm late. We read the Open on, well, I didn't read the Open. I had to try to remember the Open from the phone. And now we're here. But two things happened, one of true significance, that is Donald Trump basically throwing up his hands. Is it a negotiating posture? I hope not. These people can't be dealt with. And Donald Trump, President Trump, you did the right thing. You did the only thing that could be done, which is to go in and try to take them out and to degrade their military capacity so that they could not wreak havoc as they intended to do in the Middle East and on the world economy. Now you've got to finish the job with whatever it takes, including troops on the ground, in order to secure the Strait of Hormuz. And I've been saying this for months now. Somebody texting in, gas prices on Mountaintop, $3.61 for a little while. They have now gone up about 12 cents, maybe more. Because as soon as Trump made that announcement that he was done with them, the oil prices went up. And as we know, they're immediately impacted at the gas pump. So I don't know. It's just one of these, it's a situation that had to be handled. Trump proceeded to handle it. He expected rational actors in Iran. He didn't get it. So now you've got to say, all right, these people are sick, as Trump said. These people are looking for the apocalypse. They're looking to create the apocalypse. They are hell-bent and determined. And then there's just some silly human pride thrown in there. They're hell-bent and determined to kill and destroy Israel, to kill and destroy the United States and Western culture. That's their job. That's their goal. That's what they see. So now they've got to be killed. It's that simple. So that's the important story of the day. The less important story, although it's the reason we got to the story, is regarding a serious rot in the American body politic, specifically the Democrat Party. And don't think it can't spread to the Republican Party. It will. But this Graham Plattner suspending his campaign, I mean, it was coming. He's an idiot. He's a scumbag. It's what is. So now he's out of the race. The rapist is out of the race. And they're going to pick somebody else. And they're looking for somebody as crazy radical as Graham Plattner. That's the Democrat Party. And this is who they are now. Navy guy says, you don't know how to use Google Maps on your own before you leave? No, I don't. And nor do I want to. Because I'll tell you, Navy guy, I've taken all the side routes in accidents, and they've resulted in nothing. No gain. No gain in time, nothing. I mean, if you could go straight on 81, even at a slower pace, today was much slower than usual, you're good. But try to take, because remember what happens, Navy guy, 315, which is my alternative route, Music Street, which is my alternative route, depending on where the accident or the problem is, they're clogged because people are trying to do the same thing I am. So I've basically given up on alternative routes to get to the station. But back to the point. This Graham Plattner, I mean, my God. This tells you the state. He is the epitome of the state of the Democrat Party. Bernie Sanders, oh, he's my guy. Elizabeth Warren, he's my kind of guy. Yeah, well, yeah, a rapist Nazi. Yeah, he's your kind of guy. The Democrat Party is a complete disgrace. Those of you who are Democrats, look at, if you don't face that fact, you're not going to be able to change your party or take it back. I mean, I don't take much credence in what James Carville says, but he said he wants this wing of the party to leave the party. Start your own thing. the radical left, combined with the Islamic lunatics. And he's right. The Democrat Party is sick, it's diseased, and it is a grave danger to the United States of America right now. That's what it is. And you have the seemingly normal Democrats following along or ignoring it. But the problem to me, most people say, well, good, the Democrat Party is going down. No. This is horrible for the country. It's an imminent danger for the country. And it also provides an avenue for Islamic radicals to obtain power. They've combined with the lunatic left because they know they could use them. They're weak. They've got no principles. They're stupid because their beliefs on their face are stupid. We've played the clips to you of Islamic scholars and others saying, of course they're going to align with the Democrat Party. They don't have any principles. They don't have any true beliefs. They just want power to implement a lunatic agenda. And we're going to ride those coattails and take over the United States from within. Scary times. All right. We'll take a break. 9:32 on my Bicardo's watch. We'll come back. We've got a Veterans Tribute. We have the weather. And then we have your calls. 570-883-0098 to call or to text. And we remind you, you can check us out on YouTube, Bob Cordaro Show, WILK, and it's brought to you by Roach Supply, the premier kitchen and bath supplier in Northeast Pennsylvania. 75 years in business. RoachSupply.com, or stop in Honesdale or South Abington Townships, Chapman Supply. It's RoachSupply.com, ROCHE. We'll be back. Our Veterans Tribute this hour, as with every hour, this day as with every day, brought to you by our man, John Basiliga. Well, it's Thursday. That means we're basically at the weekend, aren't we? So we talk about the great Basiliga Hospitality Group. Fine dining, if you're thinking about it, if you're interested in it, well, there's nothing like a Terra 519. New chef, new menu. The place is awesome. By the way, a great happy hour, beyond affordable. And it's one of the most gorgeous modern restaurants you will ever go into. Then you travel down to Wilkes-Barre, and on South Franklin Street, another gem, the Mary Stegmeyer Mansion. Fine dining in an old world setting. You will think you're a king or a coal baron or a beer baron. The Stegmeyer Mansion. And don't forget, when you're telling people where to stay in this area, the best bed and breakfast in the country is the Fred Stegmeyer Mansion, just a little ways down South Franklin in Wilkes-Barre. Oh, by the way, Sergei's, the nightclub right beneath Atera. They're open tonight. No cover. Lucille Hans. She was from Forest City. We lost her at age 85, June 28th. She was preceded in death by her beloved husband of 39 years, Walter, back in 2001. She was a member of Ascension Parish, Forest City. Born and raised in Forest City, affectionately known as Luce. She grew up in the area known as Cowtown, as one of 9 children and the youngest of 7 girls. She shared a special bond with her sisters, who were known to be inseparable. As a teenager, Lucille was known as the rebel of the siblings. One of her favorite places to spend time was the Sugar Bowl, the local soda shop, where everyone knew she was the owner of the first booth. She graduated from Forest City High School and in 1959 enlisted in the U.S. Army, where she served as a nurse in the Women's Army Corps. While stationed at Fort Bliss in El Paso, Texas, she met her husband, Walter. Following her discharge from the Army, the couple briefly lived in Charleroi before returning to Forest City, where they began their life together and raised their family. Lucille worked her entire career in Forest City, a number of places: Noodleman's Clothing Store, Kelly's Pharmacy, Red Cross Pharmacy. She was a devoted wife, mother, grandmother, sister, and friend. She found great joy in cooking for those she loved. She's survived by her daughter, Tammy Simak, and her husband, Ed. Her son, Hans, or Jason Hans, and his wife, Teresa. 5 grandchildren, numerous nieces and nephews. She was preceded in death by 6 of her siblings. Lucille Hans, our great veteran this hour, brought to you by John Basiliga and the Basiliga Hospitality Group. AccuWeather forecast. Now, I'm hearing what they're saying, but my phone says something different, but I'll go with AccuWeather. And all of it brought to you by our friends at the Great Montage Mountain and the water park that is kicking tail right now. Today, a shower in the morning, fog, which I did not see, but humid, a heavy thunderstorm this afternoon. Slow-moving thunderstorms can bring flooding downpours, high of 89. Tonight, rather cloudy and humid, low of 67. Tomorrow, periods of clouds and sunshine with a couple of showers and a thunderstorm from late morning on. That's Friday. It'll be humid with a high of 82, low of 64. Saturday, humid with partial sunshine, a thunderstorm in spots in the afternoon, high 86, low 60. Sunday, partly sunny, high 87, low 59. Monday, looking into next week, mostly sunny, high 88, low 60. And that's your good water park weather, brought to you by our friends at Montage Mountain, the water park, where it's 78 degrees right now. Chubby Checker, who we've had on this program a few times. Joe Nardone brings him in. But Murph tells us this date, 1960, he released his hit, The Twist, on Parkway Records. Remember, it was released a second time and became number one. Great stuff. Bob Cordaro back with you on WILK. Let's go right to our friend Walter Griffith. Still working on this petition drive. Walter, how are you? First of all, thank you to you and all of the people who have volunteered to do this, to overturn a really screwy law passed by the lunatics on the Luzerne County Council.
Well, I will tell you, Bob, it's our pleasure to do it. It is absolutely our pleasure to do it, because I will tell you, the people who are out there circulating are doing it because they love this county, and they're doing it because they want to make a difference. And so that is very, very important to note. And we have a great team of people that are doing the work, and I couldn't be prouder of the people that are doing it.
So where are you today? First of all, give us the status of how many signatures you have, and where do we stand in the process?
Okay, well, the status we're at right now is we're well past the halfway mark at the moment. We've about 6,000 now with the signatures that we currently have. But my biggest issue today is that, as everybody saw in the paper, they miraculously just found the 300 and some signatures that were missing. And I just want to say that we had a technical error on just three petition packets. The rest of them, the other 13 packets, no problem. They went in, they got scanned, they went on the thumb drive, no problem. All of a sudden, we have a problem with 3 that we couldn't get back on the. I don't believe that for a minute. I don't. I think something happened with those 3 packets that weren't scanned onto the thumb drive for a reason. The other problem I have is, so we have a councilman who gets the petition, gets a thumb drive from somebody, he won't admit who, and he says that he only has 1,570 some signatures on the thumb drive on July the 8th. He knew on June 26th that there was 1,899 turned in. So tell me why that councilman would not call his clerk on the phone and say, hey, I got the thumb drive today, and there's only 1,575 on there. Could you check and see if you missed any? Before we ran through the whole thing for 2 weeks or for another 10 days to find out that, the clerk forgot to scan 3. I don't believe that. That clerk is very sharp. I don't think she missed 3. I think there was 3 missed on purpose. And we tried to knock this number down, is my theory. And now we're into a place where we might have been found out that happened, and so now we miraculously found 3 that were technically not put in the system. So I have some issues with that. Why would a councilman not call the clerk? Now, you've been in government, Bob. You know that if you got a document from somebody and it didn't look correct, first thing you would do is ask the person who gave it to you, is like, why is this not the same? It was public knowledge there was 1,899 turned in.
Yeah.
He didn't count them when he got the thumb drive.
Well, look at these things are going to happen. We know what we're up against. We know what the left-wing lunatics do. They fight on process because they cannot fight on ideas. So look at this is where things are. Let's just kick their ass. That's what I look at.
And again, Bob, the issue is all it is more ammunition for them to try and get the people of this county to buckle under and do what they say. So if we release that they're already out of the picture and they don't have enough signatures, now when you go out to circulate the petition, there's going to be people out there going, what's the sense of signing?
Yep.
What's the sense of signing? So that was the whole MO, the same as they released the names and put it up on the internet. It's to intimidate and harass the people of this county to get their ends met. Just like we see in the national level, this is happening in the county level. And if the people of this county don't wise up, we're going to end up being just like San Francisco. We're going to end up just like these woke sanctuary cities and all this other stuff. And people are going, well, I don't want to sign it because I'm afraid they'll know who I am. Stand up and tell people who you are and say, we're not going to take this anymore. This is our county. We love it, and we're not going to put up with it anymore. Like your commercial says, throw open the window, stick your head out and say, I'm mad as hell, and I'm not going to take it anymore. That's
what is the next step, Walter Griffiths?
Next step is we're going to continue to get our signatures. We have a challenge on some of this stuff going on. We have a court case that's coming up, and we're going to continue to work forward. We have August the 4th to get our numbers in. I have no doubt that we're going to make it. And just get the people to come out and come to, if they see a petition signing, stop your car, go over and sign the petition. This is really, really important in Luzerne County.
Well, Walter, let us know. Let us know whenever you're somewhere, and we'll put one of the volunteers on the air and let them spread the word.
Yeah, I'll be in 44 today on at Dave Grantee's place. So anybody who wants to stop by, feel free to stop after 12. I'll be there from 12 to 4 today.
At Grantee's in 44. Yep. All right, my man. Yep. Thank you, Walter.
Thank you so much,
Keep
Bob.
plugging, my friend. All right.
I will.
Hey, we'll take a break. Bob Cordaro, WILK. We will be back. So we know that the lunatic left will do anything, and I mean anything, to cheat, because their ideas are horrendous. So the ordinance they passed is ridiculous. It is such a stretch, and it is such an attempt to dominate free thought and free speech in Luzerne County. It's insane. Somebody texted in, it's just your typical election process in Luzerne County, corrupt. They don't care. They are corrupt. Their ideas are corrupt. As Sue the Cat points out, one of their cornerstone programs is abortion for all, and I will add abortion at any stage of the process. She says it can only degenerate from there, and it has. Yep. If abortion is your thing, like that's your hill to die on, think of how diseased the rest of your thinking will be. And I've had discussions with people who are pro-choice and intelligent discussions with them. And we've gone back and forth, and I know I'm right. But that aside, they're not looking for wholesale slaughter like Planned Parenthood. Think of the human condition. What does the human condition do? All right. And by the way, this is often mistaken for racism and other kinds of discrimination. What do human beings do? They get power of some sort. They then inevitably abuse that power. That's the beauty of our Constitution. It understood the shortcomings, the craven greed of human beings. And that's not every human being, obviously, but those who would gravitate to government. They will abuse power. They need to be controlled. The rights have to be to the individual, not to groups, to individuals. Because groups are also corrupted. It's just an incredible document. It's why we start off talking about it every day. So these people, and this is why the left and their ideology has always failed. Because their ideas are actually ridiculous. They're counter to human nature. They're counter to human interests for their own power and aggrandizement, by the way. And so what happens when your idea is lousy and it fails? You have to lie about it. You have to lie about the results, the causation. And eventually, you have to oppress those who are brave enough to fight against your ideas, your horrible ideas. Those who will express your failure. And that oppression turns into government power being used against individuals. It always happens. Not once, not twice. In every situation where communism was tried, socialism, Marxism, whatever nice word you want to use, it's communism. It has failed and resulted in oppression so those benefiting could keep their power. That's today's Democrat Communist Party. It's incredible. And they don't even care who they put in power. Look at Graham Plattner. Look at these Islamist lunatics that are nominees or potential nominees all across the country. Wow. Somebody says the appropriate lab. Bob LTS. So they have a real rapist Nazi, and they can't say it. But they can say it about people that aren't. Yep. Crazy stuff. It's tough stuff. And by the way, if we're so weak that we, as a people, that we can't put up with higher gas prices in order to eliminate a threat to the world economy and the Western culture in Iran, the next Nazi Germany, where are we headed? No place good, I assure you of that. All right, we'll take a break. Bob Cordaro, WILK. My Bacardo Jewelers watch tells me it's 10 o'clock and change. We'll take this break for the news. We'll be back. Great good morning, everyone. My Cordaro Jewelers watch tells me it's 11:08 a.m. This beautiful, what is it? We're already in the middle of the week. I can't believe it. Thursday, July 9th, the year of our Lord 2026 here in the great Northeast. This is the Bob Cordaro Show. I am he, and it's a big day to fight for America, defend our values, and honor, with the help of our man John Basiliga and his great Basiliga Hospitality Company, the brave who have made us and kept us free. People like veterans we've lost this year, but celebrate today thanks to John, like Lucille Hans, Forest City, Carlos Candelario, Shavertown, Myron Mike Davis, Zion Grove, and Kenneth Ryman, Nescapec. So with history, our amazing founding fathers, and the incomparable Constitution of the United States of America as our guides, let us continue today's battle, gaveling back to order today's meeting of the Club for Common Sense, promising you, after that brief news adjournment, that our deep and unalterable commitment to common sense will provide a sanctuary of sanity to all of you who hearken here. Somebody texts in, hi, Bob, LTS, always. Well, this morning at the gym in Scranton, once again, the Blue Boys were complaining the Graham Platter was set up for defeat by the MAGA party. So his actions with several women should be dismissed. His Nazi tattoo, his activity on child porn sites as well. When will the lunacy end? How can they be proud of the new Democrat Party direction, Music Man? I know. It's insane. And they swallow this. By the way, do you know who dropped the hammer on Graham Plattner? The New York Times, the Washington Post. Once they detected he was unelectable, they didn't care that he was a scumbag. Once they determined that he was going to lose the election, they poured it on to kick him out. And by the way, there's worse stuff to come out. Unless the Doberman have lost the scent. We'll see. Unbelievable. Oh, Lord. We're in scary times. Fact, truth, and reality is always determined by these dummycrats, by their hatred of Trump or the Republican Party or whatever. It's not determined by actuality. It's not determined by reality. It's not determined by facts. It's not determined by the truth. They just manipulate things. By the way, Rich McHale says, I'm watching on the live stream, brought to you by the great gang, the Roach Gang, ROCHE, Roach Supply, premier kitchen and bath supplier in Northeast Pennsylvania, for 75 years. Imagine how good they are. I can't imagine. I don't have to imagine. I've worked with them. Great. RoachSupply.com, ROCHE. But he says, why don't you take the local rags, which I'm referring to while I'm talking, and tear them up? I agree with you. Indulge me for just a minute. I want to get to your calls, and I will get to your calls. But now, the idiot paper, Scranton Times Tribune, the headline is plans set to rent out part of the annex. Now, there was a leak or a trial balloon on this previously. Now they're going with it. Move would raise revenue as the city purchase nears closing. I'm asking the city council to use their brains and use their balls to pass legislation making it veto-proof by the idiot mayor that we do not buy and we rescind this purchase. It was done at the last minute with a lame duck council. The 3 blind mice voted for it. And we're paying about $2 million for a building as a return favor for $15,000 in campaign contributions and support, which I'm sure extends to the congressional campaign of Mayor Cognetti. This white elephant, by the way, no space utilization study done on City Hall. Didn't even analyze what was to be done and what needed to be done and what you could put in there. And maybe, this sounds crazy, which DEI jobs you could get rid of in City Hall. Never analyzed it. Never looked at it. They just plunged ahead as a political favor to Mayor Cognetti's New Boys Network. And so now the proof they don't even need the damn building is they have to rent it. And guess who they're competing with? Renting their building. The taxpayers. So this is classic left-wing lunacy. The 3 blind mice and the mayor. Buy a building you don't need to return a political favor and to get support. And then rent it out to compete with the taxpayers who you're already burdening. This is insanity. What do you, I mean, how do you even do this? I don't get it. I don't get it. And so city council, there's a new majority. The lame duckers, the 3 blind mice, approved this sale. Your job for the city of Scranton, the people of the city of Scranton, and you've already questioned this transaction. And we know it was done as a political favor by Paige Cognetti. $15,000 plus support. That's what she got out of the deal. Scranton taxpayers are getting it in the neck. The building developers who've kept people alive, have kept the city alive despite her best efforts, are now going to compete with the city of Scranton, where they've invested millions, for tenants. And the fact that the city needs tenants in this building proves they don't need the building. Wow. It's stunning. And the newspaper just reports it like it's, oh, they're really being clever. They're now going to rent the part of the building in order to defray expenses. Yeah, expenses that were never necessary in the first place. As Pat Mack texts in, a city that's half its size but gets bigger government. Wow. This is insanity. And by the way, this is corruption at the highest level. Paige Cognetti is completely corrupt. There it is. Oh, raise $15,000 for my mayoral campaign, support me in my congressional campaign, and I'll buy your building and take it off your hands, Fidelity. Wow. Stunning. Stunning. And by the way, in your face. It is a big middle finger. So the city council better do something to reverse this. Get the 4th vote, make yourself veto-proof, pass legislation to rescind the purchase. That's what I'm asking. And and I'm a Scrantonian. I pay those taxes. I live in Scranton. I walk the dirty streets that Paige Cognetti doesn't clean. I lived through 5 years of a street that looked like Fallujah after a strafing by the American Air Force. This is nuts. And her whole campaign for Congress is based on lies as well. Yeah, she replaced the old boys network. Yeah, with her boys. Insane. Somebody said, Dear Bob ALTS, where are they signing, meaning the petition against the lunatic left ordinance in Luzerne County Council? They're at Grantides in 44. All right. We got to take a break. Bob Cordaro, WILK. I don't focus on Scranton. Well, I don't focus on Scranton because I live there. That's not it. This is the Democrat lunatic left, the Democrat Party of today in a nutshell. That's why. She's doing everything that they do. She is a slave to the ideology, and she is as corrupt as anybody, which is why she's accusing, falsely, Rob Bresnahan of being corrupt. She thinks that'll thwart any discussion of her corruption. And here it is, in your face, Northeast Pennsylvania, and especially taxpayers in the city of Scranton. We'll be back. The animals. Murph tells us this date, 1964. They had the number one hit in the UK with House of the Rising Sun. By the way, and it's like you can't even make it up. ACA premiums surged this year. This is front page of the Scranton Time. They surged this year, likely 27 repeat. Obamacare is failing. It's collapsing. It is a joke. It was never going to work. It was only an excuse to give us national health care. Remember Bart Billings yesterday telling us one of Khrushchev's 8 pillars of taking over free countries like America? One of them was take over their health care. It gives you incredible control over a huge part of the economy and everybody's lives. So Obamacare is failing. It can't be covered up anymore. And even the Scranton Times is reporting it. Wow. I mean, they're getting it from somebody else. They don't do any actual reporting. They did a horrible newspaper. Anyway, let's go to the blower. We got Gary from Mill City. How are you, Gary?
Geez, Bob, I hate to change the subject.
Not at all. Not at all. We handle them all here.
I wanted to call for probably the last week. I haven't had a chance. A congressman in Texas, Republican young guy, Brandon Gill.
Love him.
So did I. He sponsored a bill that would not allow lending institutions to lend money to illegal immigrants, mortgages, housing mortgages.
Mm-hmm.
Now, once again, we have laws that say illegals can't live in our country. So rather than write a law that if a lending institution would lend somebody an illegal money, they would get a huge fine, get a mandatory prison sentence, and do away with the problem, they sponsor more legislation when we already have laws in place. We have a major problem in this country with immigration.
By the way, as part of this, and the rationale and the need for the legislation is this. Number one, and don't forget sanctuary cities who are ignoring federal law and acknowledging illegals as though they are citizens. So that's number one. And that includes whole states. That's why the legislation is necessary. But also, the Fed, no friend to Donald Trump, the Fed has now released that rental costs and housing costs have increased by 20 to 30% because of illegal immigrants.
Okay. I read that. I agree with that. We've all lived it. We all know that. We didn't need the Fed to tell us. We've lived it. Our problem in this country is, like I said, can you go to the bank today and get a mortgage without giving your Social Security number?
Not that I know of.
Not that you know of. How do we illegals get it?
I know.
The Supreme Court has ruled immigration is a federal issue. How do we have sanctuary cities? How come nobody is fighting this on our behalf?
Well, Trump is. He's trying, but it's
one man.
These people are ingrained into society. The left, the Democrat Party, completely corrupted by this issue, among many others. It's insanity.
Now you look at. I go to Sam's Club frequently for our business. There are as many foreigners not speaking English, possibly more, with full carts I mean, full carts,
Mm-hmm.
2 carts, some of them. Where are they getting this money? Taxpayer money. Everything our government does for illegals is against the law.
Yes.
And we sit back and do it. We allow them to do it. A law saying you can't give illegals mortgages, we already have that law.
Yeah, I know.
And that is the problem with Republicans. And Democrats, anybody that could go vote for a Democrat and give that party power is stupid. And they're voting for the downfall of this country.
Yep.
But the Republicans to keep sponsoring bills that we already have laws to cover is just ridiculous. It's a farce, and it's making it look like they do something. Thanks for your time. I'd like to hear some comments on that. Thank you.
All right, Gary. Thank you. I unfortunately, it's a necessity, Gary. It's a necessity because without punishment to the banks and the institutions who are profiting from this, without punishment, for example, to the hospitals that are advertising for citizenship births, foreign citizenship births in this country, or profiting greatly from gender mutilation of children. You got to have specific laws for each so you can criminally punish them. It's just what is. And it shouldn't be, but it is. Hey, 10:31 on my Picardo's watch. We'll take this break. We'll be back with a Veterans Tribute, the weather, and your calls. Our veteran this hour, as with every hour, this day, as with every day, brought to you by our man John Basiliga and his great Basiliga Hospitality Group. We talked about fine dining last hour at the amazing Stegmaier Mansion and a Terra 519. Well, if you're looking for something more casual, the best bar restaurants anywhere. The Old Brook Inn, 307 Springbrook Township. The Far Street Tavern on Far Street in the Great Trips Park section of West Scranton. The Queen City Tavern, downtown Oliphant, right on the main drag. And coming very soon, I check the progress every day, Coney Island Lunch, along with Reagan's Ice Cream Shop, named after his daughter. Carlos Candelario. We lost him June 27th. He was 81 years old. He was from Shavertown. Born in Brooklyn, New York. Carlos was the youngest of 5 children. Raised in Brooklyn. Earned his high school diploma from Erasmus Hall. Following in the footsteps of his siblings, Carlos attended Brooklyn College. He participated in ROTC and graduated with a Bachelor of Science degree in 1966. In March of that year, he proudly entered the United States Air Force. He served as a navigator aboard the KC-135 Stratotanker and was deployed to Vietnam in service to his country. Through his dedication and leadership, he attained the rank of captain before receiving an honorable discharge in 1970. Following military service, Carlo continued his education, earning a master's degree from Brooklyn College in 1973. He later completed his doctorate at the University of New York in 1980. He enjoyed a distinguished career in telecommunications and public service, AT&T, SNET in Jersey and Connecticut. He then joined the Public Service Commission in Baltimore, where he served until his retirement in 2012. Carlos was a devoted family man, survived by his daughter, his son, his 4 grandchildren, his sister, and other friends and family. Carlos Candelario, our great veteran this hour, brought to you by John Basiliga and Basiliga Hospitality Group. AccuWeather forecast brought to you by the great gang up at Montage Mountain Resort, the water park in full swing, and this is the weather for it. Today, a shower this morning. We didn't get it. Fog, didn't get it. Humid. Heavy thunderstorm this afternoon. I'm doubtful. Slow-moving thunderstorms can bring flooding downpours. High 89. Tonight, rather cloudy and humid. 67. Tomorrow, periods of clouds and sunshine with a couple of showers and a thunderstorm from late morning on. It'll be humid. High 82, low 64. Saturday, humid with partial sunshine. Thunderstorm in spots in the afternoon. High of 86 on Saturday, low of 60. Sunday, partly sunny, 87, low of 59. Monday, mostly sunny, high 88, low 60. And if that ain't great water park weather, I don't know what is. It is 80 degrees at Montage right now. Well, you know, when I'm in high dudgeon or a lather, I love when Tina Morocco comes around. You, of course, know her. She's Global Sales Advisor at Sotheby's International Realty in Naples, Florida. You could reach her at Sotheby's in Naples or go right to the source, TinaMorocco.com, MURACCO, or on any social media, Tina Morocco. She's your trusted guide for Florida real estate, specializing in Southwest Florida. And here she is. Tina, what do you got for us?
Well, I'm here to provide a distraction for you, apparently.
Yes, thank you. Thank you for doing it.
Yes.
Oh.
Well, today I was just thinking about, I just had lunch with one of my customers. My customer, she bought in Cape Coral in January. And I was wondering what she's been up to. She had a pretty significant move. She moved here full-time from Oklahoma. She's in her 60s, single lady. And I'm just wondering, I said, what have you been up to? Because she knew nobody. She moved to Cape Coral knowing not a soul. And I said, so I'm just curious, if you were in Oklahoma right now, what would you be doing? And she said, absolutely nothing. It's hot in Oklahoma. There's nothing to do in the summertime. I stay inside. The weather's terrible. I said, okay, so what have you been up to in Cape Coral? And so she said, tomorrow I'm going deep sea fishing. And then over the weekend, I'm headed up to Crystal River to go snorkeling with the manatees. She was like, I've met so many people. I walk my dogs. I've met my neighbors. She was like, I said, yeah. So I was just thinking about how many people, are intimidated by a move, not even like a full-time move, but even a part-time move to Florida. And because they don't know anybody or they don't know very many people and they're afraid there will be nothing for them to do. And typically, like in her case, when we were looking at properties, I suggested, since she didn't know anybody, I said, well, maybe we want to do an HOA community because, there's lots of activities and, that type of thing. And she wasn't a fan of that. She wanted, no rules. Like, I have my big dogs. I want to be able to, do what I want to do, put a fence in if I want to put a fence in. So I said, okay. So, she met people in her neighborhood right away walking her dogs. And she met neighbors, and the neighbors introduced her to other people. And so now she is just a social butterfly with activities. And she said, I'm going salsa dancing. I found a line dancing place. I said, oh, wow. So there's a lot of things to do here. And I wouldn't be afraid of making a move because, you're not sure.
That's important to know. You don't want to go someplace and be lonely. Now, I mean, if you hide in your house, you're going to be lonely wherever you are. But that's a very important point. There are people in Florida, they don't know as many people as wherever they came from, and they're looking to associate and make friends. And there's so
100%.
many kinds of activities going on that you do make friends through your activities.
100%. You're right about that. And I will say, so people here tend to not be from here. So a lot of times they're looking for friends, looking for, connections and that type of thing. So it's not as though, people grew up here. It's mostly transplants from wherever, Oklahoma. We get a lot of Northeast and Midwest, but Oklahoma, you don't really expect that. So, yeah, it's
neat stuff.
It's a great place to meet people.
Yeah, that's so important to know. If you're going to spend any length of time, you want to have friends and people to associate with. It's a very important component of it all. I
want to go snorkeling in the Crystal River.
Yeah, that sounds pretty good, actually, doesn't it? Wouldn't that would scare the spit out of me if I ran into a manatee. I saw one on the intercoastal once, and it was so big. I was like, woof! I jumped back.
Yeah, they're like floating elephants. It's hard to imagine them. You can look them up online, but it's nothing like seeing them in person. Yeah. They're enormous.
All right, so manatees and friends today. Thank you, Tina. I
Is that enough
love
of a distraction?
Yes, it was. I'm back. All right.
That's great.
All right. Thank you so much. Tina Morocco, Global Sales Advisor at Sotheby's International Realty in Naples. Reach her at Tina Morocco, MURACCO.com, or any social media. Tina Morocco, your trusted guide to Florida real estate, specializing in Southwest Florida. Love it. Thanks, Tina.
You're welcome.
All right. We'll take a break. We'll be back. It's the Bob Cordaro Show. I want to get back on this building that Pothole Page is wasting taxpayer dollars on in order to reward her contributors. But we got to go to the blower. That was Tommy James and the Shondells. Murph says they moved up to number 4 with Hanky Panky in this date, 1966. Let's go to Bill from Pittston. He's been patient. Hi, Bill.
How you doing?
Great.
Hey, you know what? Animal Farm's got to be required reading, especially Mongambo.
Yes.
Give himself a big raise there in New York City.
Insane. Absolutely insane. By the way, Donald J. Trump Airport is now the new name of the Palm Beach Airport. I love it. Donald J. Trump International Airport. They just changed the signs.
Pretty cool.
I forgot to mention that earlier today. But anyway, go ahead. I apologize.
No. Yeah, the strategy with Plattner is nothing new. I mean, if you watch the War Games, that documentary about Clinton, you remember James Carville saying, drag a $100 bill through a trailer park. There's no telling what you're going to track. And then little George Stephanopoulos trashed these women like they were whores. And Hillary, same thing. They trash these women for a party that supposedly supports the weak, the oppressed, and always trust a woman. They are the most venomous, evil people in condemning people that oppose them. So it's nothing new. No surprise. Just win, baby.
I was sent a meme by my man Mark the Shark from Hazelton, it said Dems were cool with dementia until they saw that Biden would lose. And then Dems were cool with Nazi tattoo, rape allegations, kick profile, and more until they saw that Plattner would lose. That's it for them. There's no morality. None.
No, there's not. And, it's just unbelievable. I just can't believe people continue to vote for them. In regards to Trump, I think he's going to go down as a genius. Even his strategy of negotiating, nobody can accuse him of being too rash in his judgments. I think he's doing the right thing at the right time.
Love it. Thank you, man. Appreciate it, Bill. My Ricardo Jewelers watch says 1050. Oh, Murph, where do you find this stuff? July 9th, 1969, the Beatles recorded their Maxwell's Silver Hammer for their upcoming album, The White Album, at Abbey Road Studios, London, England. Bob Cordaro back with you on the program. Quickly, my man Rob O'Donnell elucidating further on this insane purchase of the Fidelity Bank building. It happens to be, by the way, the old Scranton Tribune building. The fight agents. This is, by the way, just an aside. Rob tells me the fight agency. Okay? This group represents Graham Plattner and Paige Cognetti. So she's got political ties to Graham Plattner, Paige Cognetti, and Mamdani, a communist and a Nazi. There you go, Paige. That's precious. Absolutely precious. And another thing Rob checked out, the utility costs. The city came out with a budget for the new building. And he said he spoke to a developer, and said his utilities for a similar sized building are almost double what they're putting in the budget. So a white elephant we do not need is being purchased from friends of Paige. And I'm asking City Council to rescind this. You need 3 votes to pass the legislation, 4 votes to withstand a certain veto by the sick mayor, because she's devoted to her friends and political contributors. She's corrupt, period. Unbelievable. And then, so, of course, what do you do next? You lie about the cost of the building. What do you do next? You rent the building because you don't need it in the first place. It was only a political reward for your contributors. So now you're going to rent it and compete with the taxpayers, people who make their living and who have invested tens of millions of dollars into the city. Well, this is so sick. It is crazy. All right, so I'm in a lather. So let's go to something great, and that's my man Matt Geddes from Camp Freedom. Matt, how are you, brother?
I'm doing well. How are you?
Well, I'm in a lather, and I turn to you to get me out of it.
You are definitely in a lather, but it's a good one, and it needs to be pointed out for sure.
So, Matt, you had a great event, your annual banquet, and it is really just fun. And I said when we were talking about it beforehand, it is America. Man, it's like you feel like you're in the heart of America when you're at that event.
It really is. I mean, 7 years running, and for the 7th year in a row, we increased overall income. We increased profit. It's amazing how giving folks are, but that is true Americana, man. That room is full of everything American it can possibly be. And people just love the mission of helping disabled vets and first responders and their families, and they get behind it.
Mm-hmm. So you've got more things coming up. Talk to me.
Yeah, so tomorrow, actually, Friday from 8 to 4 and Saturday from 8 to 1, we are going to have our yard sale here at Camp Freedom. And we say sale because everybody knows what a yard sale is, but it's free. For veterans, first responders, their families, Gold Star and Gold Shield families, you come to Camp Freedom, and we have our entire ag building loaded with all kinds of free, great items for these true American heroes. We have outdoor furniture, we have clothing, we have pet food, we have toys for kids, we have winter Christmas ornaments. You name it, it's there. And all we want to do is say thank you to all the people that chose to run towards danger.
So it's a yard giveaway to people who are part of the family up there. Wow.
That's exactly right. Yeah, it's a free yard sale, which is really a contradiction of terms, but I think you get what I mean.
How neat is that? So tomorrow and Saturday, if you're a veteran, if you're a first responder, You could go up, or a Gold Star family member. You
Yep.
go up there and
Yep.
say, hey, look at this. This is neat. Can I take it? Yes, you can. Wow.
Yeah, and then there's going to be all kinds of mulch and outdoor stones. And I mean, I can't believe what we have out there that we're able, thanks to donors and supporters, what we're able to give away. I mean, it's amazing, and it's great stuff. We're not, giving away junk. This is all great stuff.
This is incredible. Well, you got to try to call in tomorrow to talk about this again. This is I've never heard of anything like this. I've never heard of anything. Although I never heard of anything like Camp Freedom either. So you have to stay unique. You have to remain unique. Wow.
We will do that for sure. And it's the second year we're doing this, but this year's it's a blowout. Like, it's massive. So come on up, people. Come up and be blessed.
Camp Freedom, just north of Carbondale. To give us basic directions once you get to the top of the Casey Highway.
Yeah, so you get to the top of the Casey Highway. It goes from 4 lanes to 2 lanes, and you'll make your first left. It's almost a 45-degree backward turn, but it's a left onto Honesdale Road. You go 1 mile, and then you turn right onto number 7 Road and come all the way in until you can't go anymore.
How neat. And it is a gorgeous. Just to go see the property is worth it. Just to go see the property.
Agree.
Man, good stuff. Matt Geddes, Camp Freedom, the free yard sale tomorrow and Saturday. And again, I hope if you get a chance, you call in again. We'll remind people.
We'll do it. We'll do it.
All right, my man.
Thank you, Bob.
It's 11:01 on my Cordaro Jewelers watch. 11:01 and change, to be close to exact. Let's hear the news. We'll come back. It's the Bob Cordaro Show. You know it, baby. Great good morning, everyone. 11:09 a.m. I'm a Cordaro Jewelers watch. This beautiful Thursday, July 9, year of our Lord 2026, here in the great Northeast, and I suspect elsewhere as well. This is the Bob Cordaro Show. I am he, and it's a big day to fight for America, defend our values, and honor, with the help of our man John Basiliga and his great Basiliga hospitality group, the brave who have made us and kept us free. People like Kenneth Ryman, Neskapek, Mike Davis, Myron Mike Davis, Zion Grove, Carlos Candelario, Shavertown, and Lucille Hans, Forest City. We've lost them this year, but celebrate them today, thanks to John. So with history, our amazing founding fathers, and the incomparable Constitution of the United States of America as our guides, let us continue today's battle. Gaveling back to order after that brief news adjournment, this meeting, today's meeting, the Club for Common Sense, promising that our deep and unalterable commitment to common sense will provide a sanctuary of sanity to all of you who hearken here. Yeah, this building purchase, Scranton City Council has got to get some coyotes and step up and end it. They've got to rescind it. It's quite crazy. And they're faking this nonsense that it's for the police. Well, why do we have a police headquarters then? We've got a separate police headquarters. Cost millions of dollars to build. They were in City Hall for decades. So now they got their own headquarters, but the fig leaf for this purchase is that there's going to be some sort of police law enforcement in there. And Paige hates the cops. She wants to defund them. She said, and we played it last week, she wants to take the guns off the police. The fig leaf that they're covering her reward to her contributors is that, we're going to put something with the cops in there. They have their own headquarters page, or didn't you notice that? I'm sure you've never been down there except for press conferences outside or in the lobby. These people are insane. And when I tell you they're insane, and now they're going to rent it out. Rob O'Donnell lets me know, he says, there was a council tour the day before their last caucus. They see the third floor. They say, well, what are you doing with this? Oh, we have no plans for now. Now they're going to rent it out. This is crazy. These people are insane. And so they're going to compete with the taxpayers. I texted a developer in Scranton. I said, hey, let's help Paige get tenants for her new white elephant, because she apparently can't fill it with actual operations. And again, the fact that you can't fill it means you don't need it. These people are crazy. And by the way, this is what they do. Look at USAID. You got a jackass like Bono saying 303,000 people have died because USAID. None of the money was getting there, Bono, and you know it. $50+ billion budget, and even the New York Times reported that less than 10% was getting to the intended recipients. The entire United States federal government and your state government has become a scam. And guess what? Paige Cognetti's doing it in Scranton. You wonder why your taxes are so high? You wonder why if you live in Scranton, your paycheck comes, you have less money than the guy next to you? for Paige Cognetti's lunacy. And she wants to be your congressperson to continue this based on lies. And she is completely corrupt, rewarding her contributors with the purchase of a building we do not need. They don't have to take my word for it. Ask them why they're renting the third floor. You buy a building, a government buys a building to rent it out. They claim it's for police operations, but the police have their own headquarters already. How many lies can you pile on top of each other? I guess it's unfathomable. There is no number that bothers the Scranton Times and our horrible newspapers in Northeast Pennsylvania. Nothing bothers them. They don't even ask that obvious question. Well, Paige, if you say you need the building, why do you have to rent part of it? The third of it has to be rented. Why? Because you don't need it in the first place. They never brought up the fact that the people she's buying it off gave her $15,000 plus for her mayoral campaign. By the way, God knows how much they raised from others. This is lunacy. This is corruption as in your face as it gets. Paige Cognetti is corrupt. And then she throws the cops in there. You'd think a normal newspaper would say, well, wait a minute. And by the way, they had a reporter at the meeting. There's a reporter actually writing the story. Jim Lockwood, he's writing the story. Now, do you think we could ask the question, you don't need the building, obviously, because you're trying to rent it out. Number two, you're putting the police in there, but don't they have a separate headquarters building? So in other words, the entire rationale comes down to $15,000 in contributions to your mayoral campaign and support for your congressional campaign. That's what it comes down to. Isn't that interesting? Question never asked. No headlines from the newspapers about that. Wow. Let's get back quickly to Obamacare. Joe from Edwardsville texts in. He says, Bob, I'm an older guy close to retirement and find myself not covered by insurance through my employer. I have to pay for insurance coverage, and deductibles are so bad that if I have to use it, that will further break me. In the end, I realize somebody has to pay for health care for all those illegal immigrants, anchor babies, and healthy adults on Medicaid. I just wish that somebody wasn't me. Right? It's the whole government under the establishment and the Democrats has become a scam. Somebody says, please don't have a heart attack, please. Don't worry. My heart's as big as a moose's heart. It just is. I told you, I don't have time for the whole story, but the short version is, after a number of tests, they brought me in for a heart catheter. So I'm going through the procedure with a bunch of 80-year-old guys. You know, we're on the assembly line. And you're awake during the procedure. And the Dr. Dessler, I remember, Dr. Dessler says to me, he goes, he says, you don't have a problem. You just have a big heart. I said, I could have told you that. We'll take a break and be back. It's the Bob Cordaro Show. This date, 1983, the Kinks had a comeback. Their first top 10 charts hit since Lola, which was 13 years earlier. July 9, 1983. Come Dancing is the song. Oh, Lord. It gets worse. The Green Ridge Neighborhood Association, for their native Scrantonian, Joe Biden, who says, by the way, he's from Baltimore and is proud of it. They put up a hometown hero banner for Joe Biden, who never served. The hometown hero banner meant for people who did serve our military. They found out they were wrong. They voted 10-5 to keep it up. Now they know Joe Biden says he's from Baltimore. And they keep it up. Biden banner disgrace. Stolen valor. Stolen legacy. Day 208. What a disgrace. I'm telling you, everything they do is based on lies. So Joe Biden's from Baltimore. He said, by the way, I've said, we're going to keep playing that because I want you to hear this. The Scranton Joey thing was created by people like David Axelrod from the Obama campaign. You never heard Joe Biden say he was from Scranton until they said, hey, Joe, here's something for your image. Working class, middle class, scrappy. It was a punchline for Biden's vice presidential campaign. And by the way, Green Ridge Neighborhood Association, how often has he been back since he's retired from the presidency? Oh, I guess that would be 0 times. He's so proud of Green Ridge. He's so proud of it. And he isn't a veteran. You are a group in disgrace. I think about these idiots voting to keep it up. It is so insane. And you just think about it, and I've got to go to something great, which is Mother Teresa, St. Teresa, for July 9th. She says, one by one, my former students began to arrive. They wanted to give everything to God. With what joy they put away their colorful saris in order to put on our poor cotton one. St. Teresa, working among the poorest of the poor, a poverty we can't even comprehend in America. God bless her. Thank you, Mayor Regina. So, yeah, don't worry. I'm not going to have a heart attack. And I want to remind you, now that I'm on a higher and good note, that you could go to YouTube. I got the Rochester football shirt on. So you know I'm broadcasting the right one. By the way, I started talking about it and then I forgot. I can't rip up the paper. Rich McHale wanted me to rip the paper a la Nancy Pelosi. But I can't rip the paper because other people have to use it. So I would love to. Roach Supply, though, bringing you the live stream. They're the premier bath and kitchen supplier in Northeast Pennsylvania. And kitchen and bath, face it, they're probably the most important parts of your home then they're the most expensive parts to improve. So you got to talk to Roach Supply for all of that. 75 years in business, 95-year-old Ron Roach still at the helm. 3 generations working side by side, making Roach Supply great. Go to Roach Supply in Honesdale or Chapman Supply in South Abington Township, right on the main drag there as you come through the notch. RoachSupply.com is the other option, ROCHE. You'll be glad you did. By the way, Rick Bigelow reminding me that we're in Noumea, New Caledonia for 2:45. Now, the Bulldog, where he got so precise, you don't hear 2:45 every day because he says, well, it wasn't 1:45. And I said, you better start playing that every day, Bulldog. You're letting it escape my attention, but I'm not letting you get away with it. We talked about this yesterday. Rob O'Donnell texting to me. This guy Cipriani, whoever's selling this, he's he's not a space utilization guy. He's not an architect. He's not an engineer. He's a tech guy, and he's giving tours and talking about ADA compliance. Number one, City Hall is exempt, Rob points out. And as we discussed yesterday, David Wenzel, a triple amputee from Vietnam, was the mayor, and he went to work each day in a wheelchair. So how are they not ADA compliant? They go to one lie to the next, to the next, to the next. That's what you get with the Democrats of today, the left-wing lunatic Democrats. Now we need 4 normal Democrats, because council is all Democrat, to vote to rescind the sale, the purchase from Fidelity Bank. And say, look, Paige, it was done out of your corruption and as a reward to your donors of over $15,000. So we don't condone that, number one. Number two, you've proven we don't need it because you're trying to rent a floor in competition, a floor of the building, in direct competition with taxpayers who've invested tens of millions of dollars in the city of Scranton. That makes you look good. By the way, it shows you she doesn't care about any of that. Doesn't understand the economy, doesn't understand business, doesn't understand anything that's important for an elected official to understand. And you're putting some sort of police operation in there when they have their own standalone headquarters. So 2/3 of the reason you claim you're buying the building is a lie. The ADA is a lie. You're making it up. Unbelievable. And you have a tech guy trying to explain all this stuff. That's the level of quality in the administration. Unbelievable. Somebody asked, was Biden ever middle class? Former talk host referred to him as lace curtain Irish. Yeah, he was lace curtain. By the way, they aspired to be. They're white trash. Joe Biden is white trash. The Bidens are white trash. Drug addicted. Sex addicted. That's the Biden family. Base everything on lies, like his lie about a drunk driving truck driver who killed his first wife and child. Total lie. Never happened. In fact, his wife, sadly, tragically, was at fault in the accident that killed them. But Biden told the drunk driving truck driver lie until this man actually took his life, destroyed him. That's the scum that we have a hometown hero banner for. A man who never was in the military and dodged it actively, repeatedly. Yeah, that's who you're honoring, Greenridge Neighborhood Association. You're a disgrace. 11:34 on my Bacardo's watch. We'll take a break. We'll be back with our Veterans Tribute, the weather, and more. Our Veterans Tribute, it just tells you the kind of stories of great Americans in our military. It's brought to you by John Basiliga and Basiliga Hospitality Group, the place to be starting tonight and this weekend. The Old Brook Inn, 307 Springbrook Township, the Far Street Tavern on Far Street in the Great Trips Park section of West Scranton, the Queen City Tavern, Main Drag, downtown Oliphant. Coming soon, more casual dining, the best kind. Coney Island Lunch on Lackawanna Avenue in Scranton. And right next door, Reagan's Ice Cream Shop, named after John's daughter. Kenneth Ryman. We lost him at age 90, June 25th. He was a truck driver. He was a hardworking dairy farmer as well. He was from Nescapec. Born in Nescapec, he attended Nescapec High School. After graduation, he served all of us in the Pennsylvania National Guard. Kenneth was a hardworking dairy farmer and lived his life on the farm. When he wasn't in the fields, he was driving a commercial semi-truck. Preceded in death by his wife for 57 years, Carol Ryman. He'll be greatly missed by his 5 children, his 9 grandchildren, and great-grandchildren as well. Kenneth Ryman. Myron Mike Davis. We lost him at age 95, June 24th. He passed away peacefully at home that day. Born in Zion Grove. He graduated from Nuremberg High School in 1949 and served our country in the United States Air Force 1951 to 1954 during the Korean conflict. Myron then went on to build a long and dedicated career at Shoemaker Auto Supply in Bloomsburg. He worked there for more than 35 years. Deep love for the outdoors. He spent much of his time farming, gardening, and pursuing his passion as an avid hunter. Myron was a member of Mount Zion Lutheran Church and served many years on the church council. Preceded in death by his wife of 62 years, Elizabeth Betty M. He's survived by his 2 daughters, his son, his grandchild, and his 3 great-grandchildren, as well as other loving relatives, friends, and neighbors. Myron Mike Davis. Our great veterans this hour, brought to you by John Basiliga and the Basiliga Hospitality Group. AccuWeather forecast brought to you by the gang up at Montage Mountain, who they've got the water park in full swing, and this is another great water park week. Today, slow-moving thunderstorms can come through. Heavy thunderstorm possible, high 89. By the way, if there's a thunderstorm when you're at Montage, you go in the lodge and you have a great Wagyu burger. And then go back out when it passes. Tonight, rather cloudy and humid, low 67. Tomorrow, periods of clouds and sunshine. Couple of showers and a thunderstorm from late morning on. Humid, high 82, low 64. Saturday, humid with partial sunshine. Thunderstorm in spots in the afternoon. High 86, low 60. Sunday, partly sunny, 87 degrees, low 59. And then Monday, another gorgeous day, mostly sunny, high 88, low 60. And that's your deal from Montage Mountain, who brings you the AccuWeather here on WILK. 82 degrees at Montage Mountain right now. You know it, baby. Thank you, Gerard. Thanks, Frank. 2:45 in the morning at Noumea, New Caledonia. That's where it is. Rick Bigelow keeps me apprised of all this. He also talks about New Caledonia is where Admiral Halsey established his South Pacific Command headquarters during the Guadalcanal campaign of World War II. New Caledonia was a French possession, but after Hitler took France and established the Vichy government, the governor of New Caledonia was uncertain, was he for the Allies or the Germans? So he refused Admiral Gormley, who was Halsey's predecessor, the ability to establish a headquarters ashore. So Gormley kept his headquarters on board an old submarine tender in the harbor. When Bull Halsey took over, he said, enough of this nonsense. And he said that he might have even sent a few squads of Marines to emphasize that we're coming ashore with our headquarters. The governor relented, and Bull Halsey got his staff ashore. So that's our Noumea, New Caledonia, where it's 2:45 in the morning right now. Sinatra on a bar stool there, crying out to Joe. So Fetterman, once again, making sense. I have no hesitation. If someone I disagree with profoundly on political issues makes sense, we'll give them credit where credit is due. Whether that's Bill Maher or him. And once again, making sense on Musk, who exposed the government for the scam that it is. Somebody says Fetterman was on Jesse Waters last night, and he said he's trash, and that the trash took itself out tonight. Yeah, there's your Democrat Party. Unbelievable. Somebody texts in on the other side of things, on the goofy side of things. The great deal maker continuing his disastrous war since he's incompetent when it comes to diplomacy. Praise be to Allah, Bob. Well, number one, here's how stupid you are. And I'm sorry to say it, but you're dumb. Trump was too optimistic that these people would actually be rational. I agree with that. But how's the war disastrous? Please tell me how. We've crushed them. We've set them back decades. We've set them back billions and billions of dollars in their military, which was going to be used to destabilize the Middle East and the world economy, to bring about the apocalypse. We've set back their nuclear ambitions. What the hell's the matter with you? Seriously. And to even mockingly say, praise be to Allah, means you're a sick bastard on top of that. Or you just don't think, one or the other. What part of disastrous war is disastrous? Please tell me. I want to know. You're too dumb to know any. Oh, God, that's scary. That is very scary. You got Trump derangement syndrome, and you're proving it. Go get help. 11:50 on my Picardo's watch. Bloomberg Money Minute. Who's this bulldog? Vertical Horizon? Cheap Trick. Wow, I did not know that was them. Murph tells us this day, 1989, Cheap Trick had their only number one hit with The Flame, and what a neat song it is. Bob Cordaro back with you on the program as we seek to wrap it up. And well, might as well. So Graham Plattner is going to go on the ash heap of history, so we need to talk about him anymore. And by the way, I just got to go back and say, man, to say that the Iran incursion was a disaster means you're stupid. Or you're so diseased with Trump derangement syndrome, you don't know a military victory beyond parallel. We took the Middle East bully, the most powerful military in the Middle East, and destroyed them to nothing. God, you can't be that stupid. You just don't let yourself be that dumb, please. Hate Trump all you want. I don't care. But you got to acknowledge reality. Whew. Hey, we're finishing with Three Dog Night, because this date, 1972. Three Dog Night, Emerson, Lake, and Palmer, The Faces with Rod Stewart, Humble Pie, and Jay Giles Band performed at the Concert 10 Festival right here at the Pocono International Speedway, Long Pond, Pennsylvania. Three Dog Night took the stage at 7:40 a.m. and woke up the crowd at 200,000 with a rousing edition of this song, Joy to the World. Hey, Babylon Bee, they've got some suggestions on a replacement for Graham Plattner. Number one, Eric Swalwell. Among creepy Democrats with congressional experience, he's the most qualified. Number two, Jack the Ripper. Though still as yet unidentified, this British serial killer checks all the boxes. Number three, Bill Cosby, a history of sexual misconduct, and he's black. Done deal. Wilhelm the raping Nazi. Unlike Plattner, this guy's very upfront about being a Nazi and all that raping. Number five, Harvey Weinstein, longtime favorite of famous Democrats. 6, Jared from Subway. If skeevy candidates with really unsettling past are what they're looking for, it doesn't get any skeevier or more unsettling than this. Number 7, to replace Graham Plattner, Prince Andrew. Technically no longer a prince, he's probably looking for a fresh start. Oh, and then did I lose it? No, there it is. Got it back. Oh, man, I messed it up. All right. Oh, Steve. I don't know who that is. Steve. Oof, Steve is the worst. Number 9, Diddy. Everyone knows celebrity candidates tend to do well with voters. And number 10, Hunter Biden. Time to continue the family legacy. The Babylon Bee's got replacements. 12 o'clock. That's what my Picardo Jewelers watch tells me. And that means I got to go. Sue Henry Show next. Rob O'Donnell after that. God willing, I'll be back tomorrow morning at 9 to do it again and go on the attack again. We ain't giving up here. But for now, we've got to gavel to a close today's meeting of the Club for Common Sense, letting you know, have a great afternoon, and saying adios.